Sugar Season 2 Episode 7 feels like a season finale long before the actual finale arrives. The episode brings the central kidnapping case to what appears to be a satisfying conclusion. Vega finally meets his end, and Danny is reunited with G after weeks of uncertainty. Normally, that would be enough to end an entire season. Instead, Sugar deliberately solves one mystery while reminding viewers that John Sugar's most important personal battles remain completely unresolved. His search for his missing sister continues. His growing fear of assimilation continues. And, perhaps most importantly, his struggle to remember who he truly is has only become more complicated. The ending is less about solving the case and more about asking what victory actually means when your own life is still falling apart. Let us break down everything that happens. The episode immediately creates suspense by opening in the middle of the action. Viewers first see Sugar crawling away from a devastating car crash before the story jumps back 2 days to explain how everything reached that point. This storytelling choice works because it changes the audience's focus. Rather than wondering whether something terrible will happen, we spend the episode asking exactly how it happens and who survives. That mystery quietly builds tension throughout every scene. At this stage of the story, Sugar finds himself in one of his weakest positions all season. G remains safely hidden with Val, giving him one important advantage. Danny, however, has become Vega's bargaining chip. As long as Vega controls Danny, he controls the negotiation. Sugar understands that trying to overpower Vega directly would almost certainly end in disaster. Instead, he begins looking for another way to shift the balance of power. That leads him back toward an unfinished chapter of his own past. Meeting Sergei is about much more than asking an old acquaintance for help. It reminds viewers that Sugar has lived a far more dangerous life than he usually allows people to see. Sergei respects Sugar because he remembers him as someone who always kept his word. That reputation becomes one of Sugar's greatest strengths. Unlike Vega, Sugar understands that trust has real value. For a brief period, it appears the strategy works perfectly. Sergei agrees to pressure Vega through the criminal organization known as Fire Sale. With powerful people suddenly turning against him, Vega seems to lose control of the situation. For the first time in several episodes, Sugar finally allows himself to relax. His evening with Charlotte becomes one of the episode's most revealing scenes. On the surface, almost nothing dramatic happens. They eat room service, talk about music, discuss ice cream, reflect on life. Yet those ordinary conversations reveal something much deeper. Sugar speaks about his missing sister with genuine emotion. The walls he normally keeps around himself begin disappearing. This quiet sequence also connects directly to one of the season's biggest themes: assimilation. Earlier episodes treated assimilation almost like an abstract fear. The concern was that Sugar might slowly become too attached to Earth. Episode 7 gives that fear a much more human meaning. Assimilation is not simply enjoying human food or relationships. It is reaching the point where ordinary happiness becomes more important than the mission itself. For a few peaceful hours, Sugar almost forgets the larger problems waiting outside his hotel room. He experiences something close to a normal human evening. That moment is beautiful. It is also dangerous. Unfortunately, the plan involving Sergei collapses almost immediately. His sudden death in a plane crash completely changes the balance of power. The episode carefully avoids presenting this simply as unfortunate timing. Whether coincidence or something more deliberate, the result is the same. Sugar loses the one piece of leverage capable of forcing Vega into cooperation. Even worse, viewers learn that Sergei was no longer truly in charge. His son Diego now controls Fire Sale. That revelation means Sugar's carefully prepared strategy becomes useless overnight. From this point forward, peaceful negotiation is no longer a realistic option. The visual storytelling subtly prepares viewers for what comes next. Throughout the episode, images from classic films repeatedly appear. Guns, knives, violence. These cinematic references quietly suggest that the story is moving toward an inevitable confrontation. Sugar himself understands this long before anyone says it aloud. Vega has become too dangerous to leave alive. Before reaching that point, however, Sugar still offers Vega one final opportunity. He proposes a fresh start, new identities, a chance to disappear overseas with his family. This offer is surprisingly important because it reveals Sugar's character. Despite everything Vega has done, Sugar still prefers solving problems without killing. He genuinely gives Vega the opportunity to walk away. Vega refuses. That decision ultimately seals his fate. The episode's smartest twist revolves around surveillance. Earlier, Tom warned Sugar that people would be listening. At first, this seems like ordinary advice. Later, it becomes the foundation for Sugar's entire plan. Sugar realizes Vega has secretly bugged him. Instead of removing the surveillance, he deliberately uses it against him. This is where the episode becomes a psychological game rather than a physical one. Val pretends to panic. G appears to run away. Everything unfolds exactly as Vega expects. Because he believes he is secretly listening to private conversations, he never questions whether the information itself is genuine. Sugar weaponizes Vega's own confidence. G's video call becomes the final piece of the deception. Offering himself in exchange for Danny seems perfectly believable. Vega accepts the arrangement without hesitation because it confirms exactly what he already expects. He never considers the possibility that the entire situation has been carefully staged. That arrogance becomes his fatal mistake. The desert meeting perfectly explains the mysterious opening scene. Vega arrives expecting to collect G. Instead, he finds an empty location. Confused, he returns to his vehicle. Only then does he realize Danny has somehow disappeared. In his place sits John Sugar. The reveal is simple but incredibly effective. Within seconds, Sugar attacks. Rather than engaging in a prolonged gunfight, he uses a sleeper hold while Vega continues driving. The resulting crash sends both men flying. The episode has finally caught up with its opening scene. What follows is perhaps the most brutal fight of the season. Unlike previous confrontations, this battle feels deeply personal. There are no clever speeches, no elaborate plans, just two exhausted men fighting for survival. When Sugar finally kills Vega, the moment feels less triumphant than necessary. It is not presented as revenge. It is presented as the only remaining solution. With Vega gone, the season's central case finally reaches its conclusion. Danny and G are reunited. The immediate danger disappears. On paper, Sugar has succeeded. However, the episode immediately asks a much larger question. What exactly has he won? The kidnapping case is over. But nearly every personal conflict introduced throughout the season remains unresolved. Sugar still has no answers about his missing sister Jen. He still struggles with the growing fear that he is losing himself through assimilation. He still knows remarkably little about the larger forces shaping events around him. In many ways, solving Vega's case simply clears the path for the real finale. Even Stanley's revelation about Pavich contributes to this larger mystery. Sugar expected to uncover another dangerous conspiracy. Instead, Stanley describes someone genuinely trying to repair Earth's damaged climate using advanced technology. That unexpected discovery complicates Sugar's worldview. Not every powerful figure is secretly evil. Not every mystery hides a villain. Sometimes people genuinely believe they are helping. That moral uncertainty makes the remaining questions surrounding Sugar's own mission even more intriguing. Ultimately, Episode 7 functions as the emotional conclusion to one story while deliberately refusing to conclude the larger narrative. Vega's death brings justice for Danny and G, but it cannot solve the questions haunting John Sugar himself. His greatest enemies are no longer kidnappers or criminals. They are uncertainty, identity, and the possibility that he may slowly become someone entirely different from the person who first arrived on Earth. By ending the season's biggest investigation one episode early, the series sends a clear message about the finale ahead. The last episode is unlikely to be about another case. Instead, it will almost certainly focus on John Sugar himself, forcing him to confront who he really is, what he truly wants, and whether saving other people has distracted him from saving himself.